Welcome to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Hey, Karen.
What's up, Jen?
So I am very excited about this month because it's such a great topic. It is all about reality testing, and reality testing is so needed in today's world, don't you think?
Oh my gosh, big time.
So one of the things, the reasons that Karen and I get pretty fired up about reality testing is that it's one of the main components of the EQI 2.0 assessment. So we certify coaches in the assessment. And so we become really versed on the 15 different subscales that make up that assessment. And one of those subscales is reality testing. So we thought we'd share with you a little bit about what does that even mean? What are the kinds of things that you need to be aware of in order to have stronger reality testing and how it can change your life?
You know what, Jen, and just to throw out there quickly, as far as reality testing goes, when it does come to emotional intelligence, I'm going to read the definition for that reality testing. And it's reality testing is the ability and tendency for you to assess the here and now reality of any given moment or situation. What is actually going on, and compare that objectively to your fantasy of what's going on. You know, Jen, I'm going to read that again because I think it's just so important. And I want you guys to really pay attention. So reality testing is the ability and tendency for you to assess the here and now reality of any given moment or situation. What is actually going on, and compare that objectively to your fantasy of what's going on. So Jen, there's so many different pieces to that definition. Is that I think that it's going to just be really important to break that down, because it's about the here and now. It's about any given moment. What are the situations? What's going on? And I love the fact that they use the word fantasy. Like, what's your fantasy of what's going on? Or sometimes it's like, what's your friggin' disaster of what's going on?
Well, I think where fantasy fits in is that so often we're in situations where we think it should be a certain way. People should act this way. I should do this. I have expectations on the situation that when I realize that it's not going that way, then how frustrated, upset, angry, disappointed, sad do I become? Because it is not the reality of what's happening versus the fantasy. And the fantasy is, in Jen's perfect world, this is how everybody would behave. This is what everybody would be doing. This is how people would interact with each other. This is what I expect. This is how I expect people to show up. So I think it's interesting, because if we just truly saw things objectively as it is what it is, and we didn't attach meaning to it, how much more peace we would have.
You know, I think that's the word that's going to pop up a lot as we discuss reality testing this month, objectively, because it's about your capacity to really see things objectively, right? The way they are, rather than the way you want them to be or afraid that they might be. So I think that that's a big piece of this, right? Well, you want it, or, oh my gosh, are you afraid of it? So what's the reality testing that's really popping in there? And I think that when you think about reality testing, you're sitting here, I was like, okay, so why is it important? Well, it's insanely important. Hello, objectivity, right? You want to really make sure that we're looking at things objectively, but it's the whole concept of reality testing and emotional intelligence. It's going to help you be aware of your emotions, right? The emotions of other people. How do you manage those emotions? How do you pick up on the messages that other people are sending, the messages that you're telling yourself? And this reality testing, again, is going to help you so much to remain objective. So you can really, really get this, Jen, identify the emotions and then deal with what's driving the emotions. Because you got to get the reality of it and then, okay, be objective, helicopter view of your own emotions. And then how do I want to identify what they are and then do something about that? Find out what's driving.
You know, it's interesting when you say that, Kara, because the objective part of it is that it means you need to be able to recognize your own biases and preferences, right? So we all have preferences, we all have biases, and it's just the way it is. So to be objective means being able to recognize when our biases or our preferences are clouding what really is happening right here and now.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that's important to realize is also when we have an emotional reaction to a perceived reality, if that makes sense, when we have an emotional reaction to our perception of reality, it's then how much energy do you want to give that emotion? Yes, understand the message of it, but two, how important is it to be directing that much energy to your perception of reality?
You know, it's funny, Jen, this just made me think of years and years ago, you and I were out to dinner with one of our friends, and we were having a conversation about another one of our friends and about how their perception of reality was so different than our perception of reality. And it was interesting because then the discussion actually turned out to be, okay, so what really is reality? Because we had our perceptions of reality and that other person's reality was so not grounded in what my perception of reality was. It's just like, oh my God, she's just so far out there. But so far out there was her reality. But what was really real about that reality?
And that reality was reality for that person. Like our reality is the reality for us. So you have to be able to ask yourself, how much do your expectations, preferences, and bias skew your experience of your reality?
Yep, totally. And I think this is about just giving up. I don't know. And I know that a lot of times, like first impressions, tell you a lot, but sometimes they don't. So it's almost about how do you give up that, hey, first impressions is always 100% accurate, right? And I think that for me, that goes back to that whole concept of don't believe everything you think. Get more objective information or data, right? Because we want to collect data to see what's really real before you come to some kind of conclusion.
I think the note is the best way to do reality testing is to consistently challenge your own thinking. So on that note, we're going to call this a wrap. And next podcast that we have going on, the next episode, we're going to be giving you a quick tool to be able to help you be able to determine how much energy you want to put into your perceived reality. We just want to remind you that if you want to be certified in EQI 2.0 emotional intelligence assessment to be able to administer this amazing tool with your clients, your teams, it can be for life, it can be in leadership, it doesn't matter. It's universally applied and ready to go. Join our training in November of 2021. You can find out more information at www.kickstartyouredge/EQI. We want to see you there. Take care. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.